Welcome to Silicon Valley Asian Business Talk.
Hello, everyone. This is Roger Chen from University of San Francisco Center for Business Studies and Innovation in Asia Pacific. Today, I want to first thank the Chinese Entrepreneur Organization for hosting this interview at this very unique venue, which is the founding place of Facebook. Second, it's our honor to welcome Dawei Feng from Intel to join our interview program. Dawei, would you please briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Roger. Hey, everyone. Thank you for having me. Super excited to be here. As Roger introduced briefly, I work for Intel. I manage all the client segment marketing team at Intel. Outside of the work, I have been pretty active in mentoring Chinese in the Bay Area from career perspective, as well as advising a few of the startups.
Thank you.
Startup working with corporate partners, mistakes and advice.
My next question we already touched upon, which is establish corporations not as customers, but as partners, because I know many startup companies work with large corporations. Mm-hmm. So do you have any advice or kind of observation about the typical mistakes or lessons that startup company to know in order to effectively work with a corporation as a partners?
Yeah. I have a couple of examples actually working with one of the startups over the past few years. Mm-hmm. Initially, the company was working with one of the biggest corporations in the world in the cloud space. I wouldn't name the name for obvious reasons, but let's just say really good technical engagement. A large cloud company was saying all the right things to the founding team, weekly meetings, product integration, helping each other has been going really well. Until to the point that the startup team asked the big corporation, say, hey, now can you bring some leads to us? Because we've been working on this product technology integration for a long time. You've been telling us that we're able to complement your solution. Why don't you bring some leads to us? And then
the customers to the steps, right?
Yeah, prospects, basically.
Yeah.
And then the startup team realized it is not as straightforward. It's very difficult. And there are a lot of reasons why it's difficult. One of the reasons is the interface from the big company doesn't really have access to the sales leads. And it's a long process between where that person sits to accessing any potential prospects or customers. So they didn't know how to bridge that.
So you mean even within the same large corporation,
Correct.
You work with a department A, but that does not necessarily connect you, startup company, to the sales or customer leads part.
Yeah, it almost never connects to.
Yeah, so it's typical large corporation, okay.
Correct. So recognizing that, and then also recognizing that as much as the startup team feels like I'm bringing something really valuable and complementary to the big corporation, you're one of few hundreds, if not thousands. So yes, they're saying all the right things to you, but how much resource and attention would the big corporation put on you is a big question mark, right? So that went on for a really long time, more than a year. It came to a point of extreme level of frustration. And the startup team basically said, well, we have to cut the loss because we can't keep this going without seeing any of the returns. And I think a lot of times the pivotal moment came by luck, but to the earlier point I made regarding when a startup is trying to position, I'm solving everything, every problem under the sun to a very specific problem. When you make that transition, the startup actually took a long time to make that transition, right? Initially positioned way too wide, I've been advising them to position much narrower, specifically to solve one problem really well. That started to gain momentum. So, and then they realized that yes, there are many other opportunities they can pursue, but if they can just focus on that one thing and be a complementary solution to the big corporation can bring to the market, then effectively one scenario could happen where a potential customer brought in by the big corporation bought into the value proposition of the big corporation, but when they went through the execution and implementation, this small startup can come in, bring that particular piece of value add product or service to make the integration or deployment way faster, cut it down from 8 weeks to 2 weeks, from 10 engineers to 2 engineers. That's where magic really happens. So, but the learning there is gotta seize the right moment. If not, the startup is taking on a big burden of selling the overall solution to the prospect, which is really beyond the capacity of the startups. It's the big corporation stuff to sell on the overall value proposition. But then when that conversation is happening between the big corporation and the big prospect, come in at the right moment, right at the moment of implementation, cut down from 8 weeks to 2 weeks, 10 engineers, 2 engineers, that's where magic happens.
So basically, you're still talking about the, you recommend startup company to be very narrowly focused to kind of create a very, very compelling value proposition nobody can replace. That's why, it can accelerate.
Yeah, that's one important piece. And the other important piece is be the complementary solution to the big corporation, right? And timing is more important than most other aspects in that engagement. Because you go too early, you're taking on a job that you cannot fulfill. When you're coming too late, then it's too late.
It sounds like it's so complicated for a startup company to dance with large giants. So what are some of the general recommendations, like a startup company to hire the right people to do that? Or what's the general solution to tackle these huge challenges?
I think one is be extremely clear on the relationship. It's a complementary solution to augment some aspects of what this large corporation can bring to the table. That's one. Second, seek one-to-many opportunity. What do I mean? Seek any marketing broad enabling opportunity you can take when the large companies, they have no problem reaching broad set of prospects, but how do I tag along? Really try to solve that specific problem so you're visible to the broad set of potential customers, the leads, the prospects, right? And then figure out what's the ideal moment for you to go in, spend your limited resource with potential prospect to bring the deal home. So that'll be kind of the rough three-step thought process.
Right, yeah.
Thank you for watching.